Okay, morning guys. If you're looking for a really quick loaf to have with soup or something, and you can't wait for sourdough or Polish loaf to happen, make soda bread. Sometimes called Irish soda bread or Scottish soda bread. It's a recipe that requires no proving, no kneading, and yeah, really quick. So in fact, it's so quick that you put the oven on now, because the mixing process literally takes minutes, and you shove the dough in the oven within minutes. So the whole process is less than half an hour, and you'll have a really nice loaf. So I'll stand up now and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so first of all I'm going to put the oven on. So that's 200 degrees, electric or gas, I suppose, Mark 6, 7, not sure. Right, so what I have here is a mix of self-raising flour and wholemeal or brown flour. Brown, bread flour basically. So you mix them up so that they are well mixed together. And then you use, now the traditional recipe is buttermilk. In the absence of buttermilk, and I imagine most people have an absence of buttermilk, you can make buttermilk, or the effect of buttermilk, by taking some ordinary milk and squeezing lemon juice in it. And what you're doing effectively is making a sour milk. The raising agent in a soda bread is the self-raising flour and a teaspoon of baking powder. So the acidity in the milk actually contributes to that process whereby the raising happens. So I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice into this milk, and I'm using half a lemon here to achieve this effect. You can also do this by mixing some plain half and half mix of plain white yogurt and milk, because yogurt's got a slightly sourness to it. Okay, so that is in there. I'm just going to mix it up. The milk is already curdling slightly, but that's not an issue, it's fine. So the other ingredients are salt, so teaspoon of salt or so to taste really. The salt has no effect on the rising, unlike with yeasted breads where salt actually is a retardant. So you can put as much salt as you want in, but obviously don't put too much in. You can also beef up the mix with some seeds. So I've got some pumpkin seeds here and some sunflower seeds. So I'm just going to pop these in and then give them a mix. Mix them into the mix. And then I'm going to put the salt in at the same time. So everything is going in. So it's a good teaspoon of salt. And then baking powder or bicarb. And that just gives it an extra kick. And again, give it a good mix. Now, the reason I'm mixing everything dry is that when we add the milk, you want it already mixed as much as possible, because we're going to do a minimal amount of mixing here. The reaction between the liquid milk, acidic milk, and the bicarb is pretty instantaneous. Okay, so I'm going to mix the milk in. Now, you could use a plant-based milk here. It'll work exactly the same way. Just put a bit of lemon juice in it if you're vegan or lactose intolerant. So once I put the liquid in, I'm going to mix it pretty vigorously. And then I'm going to turn it onto the table surface with some flour and just form it into a round. Okay? So mix it up. It makes quite a sticky, solid mess, okay? doesn't really bear a lot of relation to a typical dough, but that's fine. So I've literally just made sure that all the dry is incorporated. And then I'm going to put a bit of flour on the work surface. And turn it out. Now while this is happening, the reaction between the acidic liquid and the self-raising flour and bicarb is happening as we speak. So I have to work fairly fast. I'm just going to get a spatula so I can get everything out of that bowl. Okay. It's quite a lot that is left behind. You don't use a spatula. So, a bit more flour on top. If your dough is quite sticky, just use a bit more flour. You're not going to be kneading it into the dough. So what I'm doing here is just literally just making it into a round. And I'm getting a lot on my hands as well. I think I need more flour. So just form it into a round. It's not a massive loaf, by the way. I mean, you can, I'll put the ingredient list in the post, but this is it's good for, you know, a couple of people to have the soup. So yeah, I've made it into a round. I'm just going to move it onto a bit of greaseproof paper. And there's only some bits in here. I'm just going to wipe my hands off and I'll add these bits to the top. Or you could even make a little mini soda bread. Now, having made it into a round, now as you get better at this, you'll do it a lot quicker than me, but I'm doing it for the purpose of demonstration, doing it slower. So what you want to do now is cut across in the top, and you'll see pictures of soda bread, and this is a typical thing to do, a slashing. It has origins in Christianity. You know, you made a cross in your loaf to honour your God. But what it also does is increase the surface area of the loaf. It's quite a dense dough, and so what you want is for it to cook evenly in the oven. So by cutting it like this, you're increasing the surface area. It means that it's going to cook through rather than be gooey in the middle if it was just a one amorphous lump. Okay. Right, so it's ready to go in the oven. So pop it in the oven for about 25 minutes. You can check it. What you're looking for when it comes out is not cooked through. You know, you can stick a skewer in if you want, just to check to see if it's cooked right in the middle. The underside should tap hollow. So I'll just shove it straight in the oven. Right, so that's soda bread, and I'll show you the bread when it comes out of the oven. Oh, and I forgot to put the mini one in, so in she goes. Okay guys, here's the soda bread out of the oven, fresh out of the oven. You can see the splits have opened up, makes it more of like a tear and share thing. It's quite a small loaf. You could double the recipe amounts and you know, just add extra 5 minutes to the cooking time. This one was about 20 minutes at 200 degrees. So a couple of things to check whether the soda bread is done. At the center of the cross, if you just sort of press at the center, that's usually the last place that it cooks through. So if it's a bit soggy there, another few minutes in the oven. And also you can tap the bottom of the loaf, and if it's got a nice hollow sound, that's a good sign. The texture of soda bread is a bit like a scone, because effectively this is a scone recipe done large with savoury ingredients. So we have a massive scone effectively, and if I tear open this, you can see it's quite a scony sort of texture. Very tasty. You've put salt in, obviously. It's lovely toasted, it's lovely with soup. So all in all, it's taken less than 30 minutes to put this together. That's amazing for bread. So yeah, have a go and let me know how you get on, and post photos back to me, digitally of course, and be interested to see what you do. Okay, thanks.